Yes, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're still chilling with Peter and talking about his journey to becoming a chartered accountant. And now we're going to talk also about his firm, Serite and Associates. But yes, we still need to talk about Seite.
Yeah. All right.
The top 35, under 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now fast forward, we left off at the investing, right?
Invested, yeah.
So still what, 2013, 14, so I'm still in varsity. Yeah. I wrap up varsity, now start working. Boom, boom, boom. Boy goes to articles of Big Four, you know, actually two of the Big Four, long story again.
Sure.
And finish up and start working in the profession, and come 2018, then I was one of the, I guess, applicants of it.
Sure.
Right? Didn't win it, you know, and I mean, we're still gonna go for it. I can tell you right now that it's not still got some time. But what also that part of my life kind of taught me was then now this is a very, very important part, because this is now talking to us as black people, right? That's when I started now getting to interact with a lot of black professionals.
Okay.
That are actually good. Because up until this time, you're not that black people I was meeting were good, no, but they were okay.
Sure.
You'd meet them, you're on firms, the manager, the partner, cool. But you didn't meet people that were mind blown.
Sure.
But what we were now exposed to, it was almost a contradictory that CA is cool, you'd have a bit of money, but you needed to look a certain way, and that was not black. You needed to have a certain group of friends, you know. Those were not your guys from the township.
Sure.
You needed to be in a certain industry, and that was not in the township market.
Sure.
So you needed to be a particular way. Now I don't want to pick on any industries. That's why I'm telling you what you needed not to do. So whereas you saw a lot of, you wouldn't find CAs in township markets.
Sure.
You wouldn't find someone saying I'm a CA and I'm rendering services to township businesses.
Sure.
That's unheard of. What you mean? As a CA, shouldn't be JC listed. Cool, but that's, you're trained for that. You're trained for that. But again, as we defined it, it's a designation. You could be able to do anything. But now as black people, we had what? An obligation to go back and fix where we come from.
Sure.
We know we're imperfect.
Yeah.
Cool. I always give it this way that, guys, I could be a CFO of a listed firm, right? I've earned well. But the bottom line is the day I leave that job, would I be able to start a company that can go list? Chances are no. Because I need to be making an X amount of revenue.
Yeah.
But now, if someone starts learning those practical skills of how to run an actual business, what we start doing, we improve the quality of our township businesses. We improve the quality of our funeral palace, salons, dark shops in the townships. And those are the things that actually employ people. So that's one of the things that I got into the top 35 at the time under COVID. I mean, there were far better guys. I mean, guys were doing brilliant things. I was also amazing that we can't to learn. So the past couple of years, we've been also reworking our products to kind of work. Kind of look at it. But I mean, Seite, it's our professional body.
Yeah.
And it's to this day, I mean, I still run quite a number of programs with them. So the current ET I'm running is still with them. So we have quite a tight relationship.
Let me cut you off just a little bit, just to give clarity on everybody, to everybody out there. Seite. SAICA. What does it stand for?
South African Institute of Chartered Accountants.
There we go. South African Institute of Chartered Accountants.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
So you were about to tell us about SNA.
Yeah. So now keep in mind, to this 7-year journey required a couple of years in corporate. I had to do my time, you know. and but from day one, because of that drive, that entrepreneurial spirit, I knew that I wasn't gonna be a good employee.
Sure.
I was gonna get fired, no. But I wanted to affect change. So one of the reasons I even started SNA, I mean, SNA is now pretty much the third or fourth entity I've had.
Sure.
Right, building up. So there was another accounting firm that didn't go well. We opened another one with a group of guys that didn't go well. All the way we got to now SNA. Right? And the purpose of it has been twofold. One has been empowerment, meaning we need to employ young black people.
Okay.
Consistently so.
Sure.
Right. And then the second element of it is that we need to empower SMEs, particularly the townships.
Sure.
Right? Those have been our two goals. Cool. I can have a JSE listed entity to make sure that we're able to pay our bills. That's good. I can be able to consult for an SOC. I still have clients that are listed. I still have big corporates that do consulting with me. That for me, it's just the business, the profitability, because I need money and I love money. But the heart and soul purpose of the firm, it's empowerment. And you'll see that through everything we do. I mean, if I had to give you our stats right now, we are sitting, our team is still relatively small. At the highest we've had this year, it was about 8 females, South African, and 2 guys. me and the IT guy.
Sure.
Yeah. So even in our representation, it's always been that we wanted to address, we wanted to be the firm that answers the question that, or goes into those areas that chartered accountants would not generally go into. Like right now, I tell you of my client base, a substantial portion of it are coming from the township. So Top, East Rand, I've got a few now in Karampua, Maugwani, you know. And what works perfectly is that we, at the time, we hadn't even planned it. It just so happened. So 2020 starts, I've got my staff ready, we're gonna work, we've got our offices in Centurion, boom, we're opening a second office then 4 ways. I mean, at the time we were trying to even have 2 satellites in Limpopo and in Cape Town. So we were ready. I mean, we're not doing this 2 years running. Push, we've got this on lock. Lockdown happened. And from lockdown, the beauty of it that we saw was that it worked perfectly for us. Because now I'm sitting with a team of staff that are from the townships. My clients, quite a big portion of them are from the townships. So now actually the only thing that was awkward was that my team and the clients would have to leave the township to come to town so that they can meet toll and go back to the township. Can't we then summer, these guys are in the townships, we've got technology, let's move digital. So we went all digital. And I can tell you the growth we've seen as a firm, we've seen in our entrepreneurs. Like right now, from our stalls, I've got about 6 entrepreneurs that have launched shops. Like I've attended launching. The first one about last week was a pizza shop. The other one is this Friday that we're going to. I'm sorry. Reason being are these guys that we adopted a model of scaling to say we're gonna work. Cool. There's training, these books you read that are coming from Europe, from the US. Nothing against it. Good for principal teaching. But what they don't teach is the context of our township. There's a lot of companies that are saying we're running township programs. No offense, but how do I put this? I can't expect a Mr. Van der Merwe to understand the context of Okakiso. Or Mr. Van der Berg to understand what really goes down in Soweto.
No, or even understand the education system back there.
You know, they can read a couple of books about township stats, what are the demographics, how many people are the LSMs, however the context of what a township is. They might not be fully clued with it. But the problem is there aren't any qualified people to go into that space. We have left that space now to my friends, you know. We haven't gone and entered into that space. And again, for a business, I'll tell you this, I've got quite a number of mentors. When I then took the decision that a big part of our strategy would be to go back into the townships, people that would guide me, these are people like us. We're like, dude, you're a CA, you could be charging at least 3,000 an hour on a project. You're going down to charging what? How much are you going to charge this SMEs? And I'm like, guys, I get it. But in my mind, I needed to first fix there to be able to unlock everything else. It was crazy. I couldn't even explain it. Even to my own parents, I couldn't even explain it. You know? And that was the thing now when you're starting out trying to explain that to your partner as well. They're like, dude, you're a CA. You left a nice job. It's not that you're unemployed. You left a nice job to now start chasing SMEs, pay your bills, do this. Some guys, they don't want to pay you. Are you okay?
What are you doing?
But people didn't understand it. It's only now, I mean, now we've been running with this model for about, we're starting our 2nd year. So that means we're having our 2nd intake of grads. Okay, so pretty much our big idea is that pretty much every year we take a group of grads and we take them through the program. And again, we have had to make the program so robust that along the way, some grads wouldn't make it. Because if I had to maybe look at the stats, this year alone we would have given out about 20 contracts. And we're sitting at about 8-9 resignations because and I mean, imagine you're starting a new job, it's your first job, it's in COVID and you're starting it digitally. So the challenges were intense. And at the same time, we still need to run a profitable business. In the heart of COVID, people need to get paid, suppliers need to get paid. But it was that tag and pro. But again, we are getting that model right. So that is the reason and why I eventually started the SMA. It was for that sole purpose, to empower young people and to actually empower young businesses to actually see it to a point they grow.
Excellent.
So can I just ask on this aspect of empowering these SMEs? You see, in the township especially, because that's where you operate, we have, like you mentioned, my friend, you know, is that racist?
That's how everybody refers to them, so forgive us guys, but that's how...
I don't know, but then, we left it. I'm saying, usually growing up, we didn't have them. We had Uncle Mama, Uncle Steve, Uncle Mama, Uncle Joe. And then these guys, they came into the room. They took them out of business. So I'm just wondering, what would you say is the model they are using, or what concept? What are they doing right that they are taking our uncles that have been in business for years? I mean, we have an uncle that has had his plaza for like 20 years. Now that plaza is renting it out to these guys. Now he's just that guy, the landlord. It's not even. You know.
I guess in such cases, and it could be a host of reasons, right? That's my opinion. It's a mixture of, firstly, poor management from our guys, because they didn't know any better.
Sure.
Okay, that was number one. And number two, it's also the working capital. So now simply put, if I'm selling bread, I need to know when exactly that bread is going to move off the shelf, when I need to call the supplier, and when I need to pay my supplier, and whoever brought that bread, when am I collecting money from? That's very important in any business area. Because the moment there's an SMME, or a big business, because this will cripple you, if you cannot manage your cash flow cycle. Technical terms, they call it working capital. But what it is, it's just your cash flow. Making sure that by the time you spend your last rand, the next one is already coming. You don't have long extended periods without cash. Because the moment that happens, what happens? Let's take a typical scenario, and which is a popular one, because a couple of years ago we did research in the northern part of Limpopo, Venda, where actually we found out that there was a syndicate that were deliberately getting our black brothers into debt so that they can take over those stores. Okay, whether they're guilty or not, that's for the courts to decide. That's not my role. Okay? But it was alleged. So now what they would do, day one he would come to buy stock. Normally he buys cash because he understands what his working capital. He didn't go to school. That means his understanding is very basic. He understands that, okay, I need to buy stock when I have enough cash. He doesn't understand the concept of leverage, or credit, or debt. Right? Of course. So now here's someone that says, okay, my man, instead of you coming here every Monday to buy 20 loaves, how about I give you 80 loaves today? You can't afford 80 loaves, but I'm going to give you 80 loaves. And then at my end, you give me the amount for it. To a business deal, and that sounds like what? Good. And that is the same trap SME is now post-COVID we've been trying to shout against. To say that there'll be a lot of funding that's going to go out.
Sure.
It's going to be easy to say, give me the money. I'm good for the money. Everyone thinks they're good for the money.
Of course.
Okay? But the biggest trap with that is that if you don't understand your working capital, the problem is the moment you default, there's going to be consequences. And in certain cases, they'll then start saying, okay, you owe me, so I'm taking 10% of the shares of the company. I'm taking 20%. Up until you owe them so much that they take your entire store. And your house, you are not a tenant, or you work for them in the house. Or if you were lucky enough not to give them the whole house, you are the landlord, but they've taken the store. But you have lost the business bottom line. All because they introduced you to credit. Something that should have been good to grow your business has now suffocated. And that's the same thing we're seeing in our line of business. We're seeing now everyone are picking up on this trend of township stuff. So what are they doing? There's a big corporate, they're throwing money at township programs. Okay, how much loan do you need? To make my dreams go wild, I need 2 million. Debt 2 million. This guy hasn't even made 20,000 in revenue ever. Now 20 million, I get a new boutique store, I get everything right, it's all good. I think the issue was my product. And as an entrepreneur, you realize that's not the issue. 9 out of 10 times the issue is not the product. It's just access to money. It's not even funding. Because if you look at us, SNA, up until this day, we don't have third-party funding. We have never funded. We've never had to resort to third party. Because we've focused on one thing. Let's manage our working capital. Cash. That means with my supplier, some of them might get angry, some of them we might have to mend that relationship over lunch now and again, but I'll only pay them what A, B, C, and D have. So I need to understand it so well. And the beauty of it in the era we're living in, this technology that can help you manage it, predict scenarios, see what could happen. No one could have anticipated COVID-19.
Of course.
But we survived.
But we're surviving. So, wow, that is, you said a mouthful. Now, from what you were saying, I want to know how you would then advise someone who is already in that debt situation maybe not necessarily as a business, but as an individual. I'm already in debt. So how would you advise me on managing that debt?
Okay, so first let's add a disclaimer.
Yeah.
I'm not a financial planner. Right?
Yeah.
This doesn't constitute as official advice. It's my opinion.
Your hand, right?
Yeah, my opinion. And the reason I'm saying this is because I'm an entrepreneur. That means along the way, in all these other businesses I had to do, I had to stumble into debt as well.
Of course.
Okay? There was also school debt and whatever debt. So now, here's my thing. You need to be logical as a person. And I also the best place to be logical, start in the mirror. Go have this conversation with yourself looking at the mirror. Be frank, there ain't nobody, you don't need to be all cool. Have a conversation with yourself to say.
An honest conversation, not just a conversation, guys. Honest.
Where on this conundrum, scale from 1 to 10, is my living standard. Actual, where do I want it to be? Let's say they call it LSMs.
Yeah.
Those that are friends will call it LSM. They've got LSM 1 to 8, it's living standard measure. Right? For those that don't know. So meaning, if how people market it, right? Quick background. They would market according to LSM. So i.e., they wouldn't market certain shoes. I wouldn't see certain shoes on my timeline because it's not on my LSMs. Or I wouldn't see certain cars on my timeline because it's not on my level.
The adverts we see on TV.
And So people need to be realistic in that sense. So start there and say, okay, I'm living at this life. Cool. What are my needs in order to live this life that I want to? You realize that your needs are not a lot because they're needs. That means without them you'll die. But if you were able to do without and you didn't die, that thing is no longer a need. It's a want. It's a want. Let's talk about it. So now the moment you determine that, I'm not here to tell people how to live their life. Go grab a beer every now and again if you want to, relax and stuff. But have a plan. Rank your debt. So I'll take 3 popular ones: credit card, bond, car, student loan. Let's add a 4th one. What else is there? Oh, my chonies. Let's make it interesting. Okay? Let's say you owe 5 people, here they are. Who do I start paying in one order? I've got a bond, that's secured by the house. I've got a 20-year relationship. Cool. So that means I've got 20 years to pay these people. Why am I in a rush? I've got 20 years. Okay? So in terms of ranking, because it's what they call secured lending, there is an asset. If worst comes to worst, they'll come get the house. So cool, I'd rank that not as urgent and important. I agree, you're trying to get out of this pool. That means you're already in mind. You've not been making payments, they are now calling you. So you want to start ranking them. You're going to start now with the ones that are what they call high interest bearing. So your credit cards. Or maturities. Because chances are maturities are sitting about 45 or so. 45%. How you even got into that situation? Never find yourself in that situation. It's just illegal.
Of course.
But the reason I'm bringing it up is that I get to find a lot of clients that come into my office that are already in that situation. Because there was no other realistic alternative. And that's why I'm bringing it. So that would be one person you want to close off for, because it can break your bones, meaning you won't be able to generate any other money.
So then you'll remain in the pool.
So focus. So here's my rule. I work in 90 days. So I'm saying, say the first 90 days I'm gonna focus on Foshini, want, Makan, Edgar's accounts. Group them. Don't try to be a hero. Like, don't get to a point where you're gonna close them off in 2 months. And you're assuming you're not eating. That's a bad assumption. I've heard people budget like I'm assuming I won't eat. What kind of assumption is that?
That's a crazy assumption.
I won't pay petrol. Fam.
How are you going to drive?
Assumption. Guys are aggressive out there. I won't take my girlfriend out on a date. Then you're not going to have a happy home. So be realistic. Be realistic, break it down. If you can afford 500, focus. 500, let's start with my chilies. Keep them out. Next one, go through the list. But the one thing you need to do, be consistent and make sure you pay each and every one of them something for your credit score. That's a tip. Meaning, if let's say the focus now is on my Chonisa and account number 1, I still have account number 2, number 3, number 4, and 5, right? Number 3, number 4, number 5, I might not necessarily pay them what I owe them because I'm already in areas. I already owe these people.
You already owe them.
So now that's the reality. So now I'm trying to make the best out of a bad situation. You know what I'm saying? This might not be the best advice according to the textbook, but it's an advice that is progressive to get you out of a mess. Because it won't be long. My Chonisa will take your car. The next guy will start taking your car. By the time even the car for the car, guys, they need to take their car. The car will no longer be there.
Yeah, it's at the matureness.
You know, so you want to start with the high risk one. Get those guys out. Get those guys out. Get those guys out as you're going down, but be consistent up until the point you fully close them off.
Yeah,
and then from there is nothing wrong with debt. That needs to be a concept, especially as black people, we need to understand. Because I grew up in the township, as I told you earlier on there, where every so often you'd see Tragia rings, whatnot, coming to collect furniture and
Sure.
Oh,
repos. Yeah. And that made you kind of realize that because of how financial knowledge in the township has been so deprived, such things weren't explained. Where now I'm thinking, but there could have been other alternatives they could have taken before then. And these are stuff, we just need to, and it's one of the challenges I always put out to my finance professionals to say, as a minimum, each and every year, we need to give out about 20 hours of just free financial advice.
Sure.
We give to entrepreneurs, we give to people. It can be in the form of teaching, WhatsApp, but just let's educate people. Stuff like interest rates, stuff like do you buy or lease, stuff like do you use Uber or buy a car, do you rent or buy property, stuff like that. Because it's always easy for someone to say property is an investment at that stage of my life. You get what I'm trying to say? If I can find something I can invest that capital into that's higher bearing in interest, why not? But no one wants to have those conversations.
Yeah.
You know? Maybe we don't know.
Maybe we...
Or the platforms
Most
aren't
probably
there.
we don't know.
Or the platforms aren't there.
Is not
Or the
there.
platforms aren't
But
there.
we just have frank conversations.
Of course. And that is why we have the Listen and Be Heard podcast, so that we can share such information. It is the platform that allows you to have a voice and be heard, and also to then grasp a lot of the information that we give.
And
So,
it's also a platform that allows you to like and share and comment.
Down there. You know how it is. All right, so Peter, while we're still talking about this and debt, right? Let's advise the young graduates.
Okay.
Even if it's not graduates, the youngsters, anyone watching this now, who maybe is going to work someday, and going to be in debt someday, how to avoid those high interest bearing, as you say. Or maybe avoid is you already said it's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
So how to minimize it?
Yeah. So now again, I work in threes. So I use a 30-30-30-10 rule to say that whatever you earn, you need to work in 30-30-30 brackets.
Sure.
The first 30 is my needs. So it needs to be rent. So my rent needs to fit into the 30, including everything that goes with the household.
Sure.
So
electricity,
water,
water,
your garden, alarm, whatever it is that goes with the house, not the food.
Sure. Before the food, sure.
If there needs to be help, someone that cleans, all in that 30.
All in that 30,
bracket. Then you go to the next one, and that 30 is what I would say is your mobility. It's then your car, petrol, clothes, shoes, stuff that you need to move, to get to work, to do what you got to do to get that money.
Sure.
Your mobility.
Mobility,
Yeah. In there you can somewhat put in data, for argument's sake.
Of course,
you know?
yeah.
And then the last 30, that's where I now say it's your consumables. That's your groceries. Your black tax. It doesn't help not budgeting for it.
Never forget to factor in black tax, guys. Because it's a real thing.
We assume I'm not going to give my mom money at the end of the month. You get into the and your mom calls you, send her money. Where do you think that money came from? Like you get what I'm trying to say. Of course it came from. So you might as well budget for it.
So you might as well
everything stays in that 30. And then you need to then be quite strict. And then the last 10, I guess if you're Christian, you can send it to church, you know, or that last 10, I would then have it as liquid cash. That liquid cash is what you're not using. They would call it rainy day. I see in South Africa, it's raining every day. So have that access, either in the form of a savings, 30-day angel investment. For me, that's what I use my 10 for. It was an angel investment back in the day. So what I would do, I'll take that 10, I would then invest it in a company that's dire at the moment.
Okay.
And then that company would then owe me. So for me, but that's a story for another day, you know.
Okay.
Bottom line.
That one is going to need a whole classroom where he teaches you how to do
but that 10 essentially is to say, it's to preserve you. Either put it in a saving, go give it to Ugogo to put under the bed, put it in a rainy cloud account, but have it. Get to the end of the next month, where if you need it, you can pull it.
Yeah.
That is the type of money that when we went on lockdown on the 27th of March, you needed to put in an order for so that the Monday you have it.
Of course. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And then stay within those boundaries. And then what you then do, start giving yourself targets to say that in the housing, if my salary or my income goes up to this, I'm still going to stay in this band. Similarly. And then what you then do, you make sure you get savings from each band. So what you drink or what you party on or what you celebrate, it's the savings. So if you had a target of 3,000 and you spend 2.5, that 500 is what you can spend that money to reward yourself for coming into budget. And then going forward, you start saving aside that 500. So for me, those bands are what seem to work for the longest of time. Up until from there, you can understand quite a lot more about finances, but those bands overall work for me.
Sure. Right, we've been talking for quite some time, but now I want to know one last question. For young entrepreneurs, you already work with young entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So how does your firm exactly help them maybe with the sourcing of funding and all of that?
Okay, so what we do, we do the whole spec as I explained earlier on, but particularly with regards to entrepreneurs and capital raising. It's easy for me to say, come through, I'll help you get funding.
Yeah.
And I can.
Sure.
And you will get the funding. The problem is that now, how are you going to do it?
Yeah.
You're going to end up now owning a group of company that now takes your company, your assets, in your houses. So generally what we then do, we put entrepreneurs on a program. Okay, either three-month program, a 6-month or a year.
Yeah.
Where in the process, we teach you how to, before you even go say you're going to look for funding, do you need funding?
Sure.
That is the first question, young entrepreneurs. Because a lot of the times what we do, we spend a lot more time thinking that I need funding, if I can just get funding. No, you just need to have a good concept, go to market.
Go to market,
You will fund it as we are going. I haven't had any startup capital, I haven't had any funding. We started day one with a project. When we went to clients, we said, okay guys, we're a firm ready to offer services. Clients said, okay, you're a CA, cool, we trust you, let's start working. We started working, give me deposit. Give me deposit. So all I did was collect deposits. Give me deposit. So with that deposit, those are the deposits that bought the laptops, kickstart the website, paid for everything. Then from there, the balance started the process. You get what I'm trying to say? Then if you need to inject, even then you'll realize, okay, if I need to inject, instead of getting funding, let me go focus on getting that big client. So that even if I rather collaborate. So instead of funding, we say, funding should be the last resort. There's a whole matrix we have where you need to try collaboration. You realize what you need funding for, he already has. You don't need to buy it, you just need to share it with him. And in exchange, you can do something for him. And that's the budding system we even have with entrepreneurs. That's why now our database is sitting at about 100 plus. Our idea is that if I now have an entrepreneur that says, I need funding because we need to bring in a security company, can't I look into my database to say, don't I have a security company that they can barter? And then they're cutting on the cost, they keep moving. Because the reality of it is that
everybody's growing in that business.
The reality of it is that, sure, you hear these webinars. Now again, I'm not saying anyone is bad out there. Webinars about venture capitalists, webinars about startups, webinars about SMEs. The reality of it is that it is harder to find someone that has not worked. Think about it. If now I had to say to you, give me 20,000, and you're like, what for? And I got this crazy idea. It's gonna make us millions. Versus someone says, give me 20,000, we've been pushing for 9 months, and we just need to be able to perform on this contract. We already have a contract, we just need to perform on it. So I need money so I can perform on the contract. So
that I can fulfill the contract.
The risk is less. So we need to just get this mentality out. Because even the entrepreneurs, go to our website, guys should go to our blogs, because we do spotlight these entrepreneurs, right? I can still tell you, none of them have third-party debt. At most, what we'd rather resort to is a grant. Because a grant is now a government agency, a CEDA, NYDA, what we're saying. Okay, we understand what you're doing, I need a bit of capital. Here's capital to buy your machines, to start up. But thereafter, you should be able to go. So funding should not always be the first reason, but in the event that you need to get there, again, here's a 3-step model. Number 1, make your needs concise. Know exactly what you need the funding for. There's nothing where say I need $1 million. You get $1 million, then you realize your machines are actually 30,000.
Of course.
Know exactly what the funding is for, right?
And I eat the rest of the money.
But keep in mind, it's funding, so you're gonna have to pay it back.
That's where most people get it wrong.
Yeah.
You
And
get that funding.
and we
huge.
see it a lot in the tender business, where someone has a tender, they go get funding to fulfill the tender. They get the entire amount to fulfill the tender. They go fulfill the tender with the money. When the tender money comes, when they need to go pay back the guy that borrowed them the money, guys buying Porsche, guys buying this, guys, he's forgetting. He's like, amnesia, dude, so fast, you know. So number one, be concise in your needs. Number two, spread your funding. I honestly, I don't want to sound brutal, but I don't care what business you're running. I work with mines. I work with guys in property. You will not need your whole funding day one. You don't need that 1 million day one. What are you going to do? Do you think the system is 1 million?
You're taking it out.
You're gonna see you on I blew it. You get what I'm saying? You don't need it. Be able to manage your cash flow. So understand your cash flow so that can I get the first bullet at this point? Give it 6 months, give me another one. So what it does, then along the way, as you're getting better, you're gonna start dropping some of these fundings rather than a whole total debt of 1 million. And then last but not least, collaborate and share risk. Funding, the fundamental thing about it, if someone is going to borrow you, it's risk.
It's a risk.
Share the risk. Get 3-4 directors, 3-4 partners, you guys can collaborate, share the risk. There's nothing worse than when a business you love so much goes under. And it will happen as an entrepreneur. I've had failed businesses, it will go under. At that point in time, the last thing you need after a failed business is them to take your house. You get what I'm trying to say?
Of course. You don't want to fail in business and also not have
So manage risk.
Well, that is excellent. Thank you very much for all that information. It's been exciting, man. Your story has been empowering. It's inspiring. Like we said, guys, we don't bring you people that are going to bore you out of your scalp. We appreciate everyone that's going to give you inspiration. So today we were doing business talk, we were doing money. So I hope you learn from what Peter was giving you. My man, thank you very much for honoring us with all of that information.
And how do we get hold of you if someone is watching this and they have a couple of questions on what you can say?
Alright, it's simple. So I always say go to our website. It's simple. www.serite.co.za. And for some odd reason, if you missed that, we're on all social platforms. SMA Chartered Accountants on Facebook, Instagram. Instagram, I think it's s.a_chartered accountant, one word, but it's all SNA. SNA Chartered Accountants. You Google us, we're on Google Live, we're on WhatsApp. Our office number is 01200411530. I'll do one up special. I'll give you guys our 24-hour line. It's 060-617-2052. But we're available on our website. There's bots you can talk to and set up an appointment to chat with us.
Serite and Associates, that's what the SNA stands for, right? So Serite and Associates. If you type that up, I think it will also give you the website. So you can access it.
CA.
Serite CA, but if you write Serite Associates, it's going to show you. Right. Yes, we are going to catch you guys later. Remember, like, subscribe, comment.
Tell your
friends, to tell other friends, to tell other ones. Yes, that we were here doing it. We'll see you again after 2 weeks. Cheers.
Cheers.